Mr. Stauber for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for allowing me to ask some questions. Mr. Huffman, thank you for appearing today on behalf of the cattlemen. The Duluth News-Tribune, a major publication in my district in Minnesota, spoke to a farmer that lost a confirmed 6 head of cattle in 1 year to wolf kills. Can you estimate the economic impact this would have had on this farmer in northern Minnesota?
It's hard for me to really guess what that would be. I know in the case of applying a loss in Oregon, that's just a very small portion of the actual losses. There's the emotional loss as well as the economic loss. But also, there's many studies that show, and we know this from animals coming back from grazing, that for everyone you find and it's confirmed, there's many more that you just don't know what happened. You think you know because there's a wolf pack living right there, but so anyway, the impact would be much greater than just the animal. I can assure you of that.
And then second question is, like your state of Oregon, Minnesota has had a successful management program for the gray wolf. Can you speak to why state management is more effective than the federal government?
Well, in my I guess my opinion, there's many more staff. For example, we have 2/3 of our state that is still federally delisted, which is therefore under their management. There is one endangered species person assigned to the state out of Central Oregon, and half of his time annually is spent on wolves. So 2/3 of the state is managed an endangered species such as a wolf half time. So, and the state obviously has many more resources local that can respond to the all the other pieces and parts about wolf.
Thank you very much for those answers. And then my second question are going to be to Mr. Ash. During your tenure as Director of the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, the agency opted to remove the gray wolf from the endangered species list in Minnesota. Why did your agency decide to take the gray wolf off the endangered species list?
Because the scientists in the Fish and Wildlife Service determined that the gray wolf was recovered and should be delisted and removed from the Endangered Species Act.
And then to follow up, do you agree with your agency's decision to delist the wolves, or do you agree with the judicial activism of the D.C. Circuit Court's decision to list them back in Minnesota? And I see you're smiling. I think I know your answer. Go ahead.
I certainly agree with the agency's position. I will say my position is a little bit sobered of late because I see the return of a philosophy, particularly within a few Western states, about the kind of return to a view of wolves as vermin and predators that need to be persecuted. And so I believe that wolves are recovered. I believe that our state partners have been invaluable partners in that, but it wouldn't have happened without the leadership of the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. And so again, it's not a one or the other, it's both. And but I do see some disturbing trends today about state-based management in some states.
Would Minnesota be one of your concerns?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, and I appreciate it. And to Mr. Huffman, I will just say that, you know, we've had cattle killed. We've had domestic animals taken right from their yards from wolves. So, you know, when I talk to people in northern Minnesota, when they talk about, you talk about the devastation, when the kids come home and see the family pet disintegrated from wolves, it's quite disturbing, and I believe the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, they're well staffed and would do a very good job in the management, and I know the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and other groups agree as well. So, Mr. Chair, that's all the questioning. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.